Good evening. I think we're live. It's 6 p.m. It's a new time for talking cricket. It's freezing cold outside. Everyone's hopefully in the warm, having their tea. And we're going to chat a little bit of cricket for the next 65 minutes. England's tour of Pakistan. Apologies, firstly, there should have been a show last Tuesday evening, but I was unwell, so I had to cancel that. So we're going to do sort of a double look back at Rawalpindi and then mainly Multan, where England went 2-0 up. Yesterday, fantastic win. Firstly, if you're new to the show, please do hit the subscribe button. Please do hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. Hopefully this will be available as an audio sometime tomorrow morning, hopefully, if Martin can work that for us and tell your friends all about us and just pass the show around and hopefully we can get more people involved because we really like doing this. And if anyone wants to get involved and join the panel, drop me a message on any social media platform. Not hard to find. Also, we do have a Talking Cricket Twitter page. It's been a bit lax of late, so I have to pick that up, hopefully. At One Talking Cricket, if you're on the socials, give us a follow. Anyway, tonight I'm joined by Rob and I'm joined by Brandon. There they are. Rob is in his fantastic England cricket jumper. Look at that, Brandon. What do you think of that, mate?
Lovely, that. Absolutely lovely.
See that in the week. You wore that at school, didn't you, on your Christmas jumper day?
Yes, mate, because it's Christmas jumper. Look, Christmas here, the tree, bats, blueness, whiteness, just cricket. It was from Castore.
Ah. How much?
Yes.
Can we ask how much it is?
Well, I got it free, but it was £35 delivery.
£35. What do you think of that, Brandon? Fancy one of them?
Yeah. All my Christmas jumpers are too big for me because I've lost so much weight, so none of them fit me anymore.
So fancy one of them under your Christmas tree on Christmas morning, mate. Anyway, hopefully you're both well. Yes?
Yes.
Steady seven, mate.
Oh, steady 7. Yeah, I was probably about 3 this time last week. I apologise that I had to cancel. I thought Brandon might jump into my shoes and host the show as vice captain, but he didn't take my bait on the WhatsApp group.
No.
Why? Come on, stand up. You had the opportunity to be the main man. Look, there you go. Captain's gone down on the.
I don't think if I ran the show, I wouldn't have went to Rob much because he doesn't really know what he's on about. So it was just about making sure everyone gets a good go, and they wouldn't have if I hosted. I'm afraid.
Well, I thought we'd do like 3 of us tonight because I think sometimes when everyone's here and we have like 5, it does sometimes, guys. You don't get your say. I know Brandon likes to say quite a lot, Rob, but I think tonight when there's only like us 3, I think sometimes it works a little bit like better. I don't know what you two think, but I think sometimes less is more.
Possibly.
Yes.
I'm certainly not going to be throwing Ian and Neil under the bus just yet. But looking forward to it. Richard, where's your beard gone? So you look odd.
I had a little accident with my electric beard trimmer that broke halfway through shaving my beard and literally broke. So I had to shave the whole of my beard off, which I don't like. It's going to grow back. Don't worry. Evening, Simon Harris. Hope you're feeling all right, mate, because I know you've been under the weather like everybody else, but it will grow back, Rob. You know, it will take a while.
It's halved your age, isn't it? Halved your age.
Well, I don't like it. I'll tell you, I look in the mirror.
You look like H off Steps.
I don't know if I take that as a compliment or not. Anyway, where should we start? Should we go back to Rawalpindi, Rob?
I think that starting with the first test would make a lot of sense.
Shall we have a little? We'll have a little look at this because I think an hour, just over an hour tonight. We don't want to bore everybody. But then talking about England cricket at the minute, it's not boring, is it, Brandon?
No,
Anything
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Where is your friend back into this team? Where is Chris Wokes going to weasel his way back into this England 11?
Well, Will Jacks won't be there forever, will he?
Well, we will come to him. We will come to him because he struggled in the last test. But Rawalpindi records. Well, I've got no stats here, Rob. I don't know if you've got any stats. It was. I've got my stat attack whacker ready. You Go for it. Drop a load of stats for Royal Pendy. Even though it was a week ago, we haven't forgotten. It was 6-5-7 England in 101 overs. It was crazy.
Well,
it was 500 in a day. Go for it. Drop all your stats.
Well, why don't I tell you what? Let's just add a bit of Christmas fun to proceedings. How about I mention a number and you guys have to guess what it is?
Oh yeah, we like that, Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, start off easy. 1-0.
Brandon.
It's the score after the first test.
That's right.
He was struggling there. I was going to say.
I was worried that it was going to be something else. I was like, it's too obvious.
No, but I said I'll start off easy because, as I'm sure we know, there hasn't been a result there for decades. There was a game I think it was Australia went over there, and there was 15 wickets in 5 days. For us to bowl them out twice and score the amount of runs we did so quickly was absolutely unfathomable. And I think even the biggest converts, even in our little collection of cricket brains and across the country and the world, would have looked at it and gone, flipping out, wow. For me, probably almost certainly my favourite test, then the second test happens, but almost certainly one of my favourite test wins of all time. Unbelievable.
See, they marked the pitch got marked as average, Rob.
Below average.
Below average, wasn't it? One demerit. Was it a minus point they got? And they got one last year, didn't they, when they played Australia there? So, right, come on, more stats. 1-0 England.
Next
We've
one.
got that one.
Next one. Some of these are going to be tricky, aren't they? But next one is, I think it was 7. And this is, okay, I'll give you a clue. Day before the game.
7 players were ill.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, it was 7. It's 7 or 8, 8 or 7. It's 7 fit players or 8 or 7 unfit players. Basically, as you know, folks missed out. A lot of them potentially weren't ready. Were they? It was going to be delayed, pushed back, wasn't it, by hours or a day? And then in the end, only Folksy really missed out, didn't he? And then, of course, we had the illnesses. And then Livingston basically didn't do anything because he got injured during the game, didn't he? So he had a little bit of a bat and didn't bowl. So we played with 10. Next one, 500.
In a day. England.
Correct. Absolutely stunning.
Unbelievable.
Brandon, how many runs in the first session? Remember?
100 and was it around 180?
I think it was just under that, but I think about 160, 168, something like that. But remember that one for later, Brandon.
Okay.
He's gone into school teacher mode here, Brandon.
Well, why not? Why not?
I love it. Love it.
Day 1, 4 what?
Day 1, what?
4 something.
Hundreds.
Good man. Who by?
Hundreds. I've got
Crawley, Duckett, Pope, and Brooke.
Yeah, and who was the quickest?
Brooke.
Harry Brooke.
But not as quick as
that Gilbert Jessup 100 it's going very soon, isn't it?
Hence my name. The record, the 78 ball has got to go on it.
It'll be when Stokesy gets in, won't it?
Well,
there'll be a day when Stokesy will go off.
Brooke should have broken it in the second innings. He was well on target, wasn't he, really?
Yeah, bless him.
Here's an easy one then. 240.
Opening partnership, was it?
No.
Oh.
No. It's on the topic of Harry Brooks, so,
Oh, how many runs he scored in the test?
Yeah, and how many balls?
About 180, was it? 170, 180?
181.
Yeah, 181. So Harry Brooks scored 240 runs off 181 balls, which is the highest strike rate ever for someone scoring over 200 runs. Also, as I'm sure we know, but we forget at the same time, his second test match. He played one game, didn't he, back end of in the summer?
Yeah.
Against South Africa, when I had one knock there.
Well, I've got a stat for both of you. What have England done in the last 17 innings?
Smashed it.
No.
Well.
Don't just think with the bat. Don't just think with the bat, boys. What have they done in the last 17 innings?
Bowled teams out?
Yes. They've taken 10 wickets, Rob. And this is key to smashing. Look, we're smashing records galore with the bat, but with the way that Stokes captains, funky fields and opening the bowling bouncers, we've found ways of being able to bowl out the opposition. Look, we all know cricket. If you can take 20 wickets, you're well on your way. And we've struggled. We sat here doing this pod, in Australia. look how much it's turned around since then, guys.
Absolutely, mate.
Back then, it was Mark Wood or nothing, wasn't it?
We will come to Mark Wood.
Wood went far, and he was. We were right in the toilet.
Any more stats?
Just a few. It's 319.
Don't know. Brandon.
Zahid Mahmood's runs conceded, which is the most for a debutant.
Nice.
Is he their top? Is he their top wicket taker?
He is, yeah.
After the series, he comes on and cleans up the tail, doesn't he? He gets 2 or 3 cheapies at the end. Don't really trust him when anyone decent's wading with willow about. Really.
Next one is 2.36 and 1.5.
James Anderson's runs economy.
There you go. Clever. Yeah. What do we think about that guy?
What a guy.
40.
What about his catch? What about his catch? Did you see the catch?
Good running catch.
Jack Leach.
I didn't see the catch.
Saturday morning, you were probably still in bed, sleeping.
More than likely.
Well, I don't think Rob was up Saturday morning because I think you put on the WhatsApp group. It was a bit of a surprise, I think, when you woke up. And we were skittling them, the old Pakistanis.
Yeah, beautiful.
Anyway, next stat, please.
6. First test, remember.
The amount of wickets Jack's got in the...
Yeah, Will Jack, 6th on debut. Only had 3 wickets going into the start of the 2022 County Championship season. So, little nod there to the County Championship. Got a bowl for Surrey. Got enough wickets. Got noticed.
Embarrassed Leach a bit. Love that.
Potentially. Bowled an attacking Graham Swan line, shall we say.
Poundland.
Hanging it out there.
Poundland Liam Livingston for me. Will Jacks.
What do you say?
He's a Poundland Liam Livingston. He
Clever.
doesn't do it. He doesn't do it for me. I watched him in this last test have an absolute well. If that was you on a Saturday, Brandon, and you got cleaned up trying to smash the ball out of wherever you're playing now, I can't remember.
Great Bromley.
What would your captain say to you?
I don't know.
Well done, Brandon.
He'll
probably say, well done, Brandon. You got 15, which is 7 over your average. Good not.
It's good banner.
Come on,
that's my bowling average.
Don't let him get away with that. I know it's, we're a little bit early, probably before the watershed. We're not going to have any swearing on it tonight. If normally after 9, we don't mind a few F-bombs, but come on, you can't let him get away with that.
I'll allow it. It's fine. I've made my point that everything he says is nonsense anyway, so it's fine.
Okay. Next stat,
Rob. Next stat is 11.
Your batting average.
Oh, like it.
Well, I'll tell you, because you're both rubbish. 11 was the amount of overs Ben Stokes bowled in a spell. On the last
That was a good spell. I do remember that spell.
Ran through. It's Pakistan. It's day 5. It's searing hot. What are we doing? We're bowling seamers for I don't know, 80% of the day was Robinson, Stokes, Anderson bowling on day 5. It's absolutely crazy, but
was Stokes the one who got the breakthrough in that spell? Or was it Robinson came on and got the breakthrough whilst he was on that spell?
I think it was Robinson, wasn't it?
I know Stokes got 1 wicket in that innings. I just couldn't remember.
1 for 60 odd.
Yeah.
But just how crazy it is, and we'll take the positive of it, but how on day 5 we're not bowling 3 spinners at the same time. It was Seam that did the job.
I think only one person can bowl at a time, Rob, but I get your point.
Of course, I was making a point there, Brandon, that the intellectuals would have picked up on. And it wasn't Leach who did the business, which is something in our topic we'll probably come on to later on, I would have thought, which is, do we look at replacing Jack Leach in the third game, particularly to give somebody else maybe a little bit of a go, perhaps, who's quite young, perhaps, and keen, and maybe spins it both ways.
And the ball.
Yeah, so... Next one, ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
43. Day 5. This is day 5 again.
43.
Overs?
Yeah, somebody bowled 43 overs.
Leach. It's got to be Leach in it.
Mate, no. Ollie Robinson. Robinson got through 43 overs across the test. Bearing in mind, this was Mr. I can't bowl more than 3 spells without breaking down. Only
Mr. Made a glass. Yeah.
Mr. Fitness now.
if we rewind to about a year ago, I was probably panning him on here saying I think he's not fit to play. Look, the penny's dropped with him, and now you see
he's addicted to the gym.
He said he's addicted to the gym. I still want more, a little bit more with the bat with him, Rob. I still think there's a little bit.
You got a decent 37.
Yeah, but other than that, I think he's better than sometimes just tossing his wicket away.
Yeah, but I think if they're going, the difficulty is if they're going out there being told to just go and play your shots. It's one thing for Stokes to do it and Bairstow to do it.
Right.
Remember him.
Right. Wait there. Right. Wait there. Now you're onto that about it's not Ben Stokes. Talk to me, Rob, then about Jack Leach when he walks out and he tries to reverse sweep his first ball.
Well, that's exactly my point. My point is that if everyone's expected to bat that way, what the problem is that they're not top tier batters. They're bowlers who happen to have to bat because it's the rules of the game, which is wrong. You know, you're saying you want more runs from Robinson. Well, if he's trying to smash every ball, it's a bit like on that computer game where his likelihood of hitting the ball out the middle is a lot lower than a top order batter. So that's just natural selection. And they probably do need to look at tweaking the plan. I think if Folkes plays, Folkes isn't going to tee off and whack it and ramp it. Folkes will just bat, I think. I don't see Folkes as a whacker. He will just bat with the tail. And it might be that they do whack and he just accumulates 30 not out or whatever. And we shall see. But it's not, for me, Leach isn't the man to be doing that, nor's Anderson. But also, you look at it, it just moved the game along. What we didn't do is block out 12 overs for 12 runs, which we used to do.
What we gave ourselves is more time to bowl them out on a pitch that was shocking. That's what scoring 600 and 100 overs done for us.
Agreed. So there's your answer, Rich. It actually served a purpose. Short of just declaring 7 down, they just got on with it.
True. And normally, if we go to the, I know you're on about the first test, but if you go to day one of the second test there, in tests gone past, we'd have probably batted for, what did we bat? We batted 51.4 overs and we scored 281. Now, normally we'd have probably been, 140 all out, and we'd have gone nowhere. So I know we were losing wickets, and I still see people on social media, guys, moaning the way we're playing, we shouldn't be doing this, but it's calculated from, we're not just going out there slogging just willy-nilly. There is a method to the madness. You know, we've moved the game on, and we've got probably about another 140 runs than what were we at lunch on day one? 180 for 5, weren't we, I think?
Yeah.
So we'd normally about 50 odd for 5, and we'd all be thinking, bloody hell, and we'd probably just scrape over 100.
Yeah, and as people have been watching the game longer, certainly, no offense, Brandon, for a long time, we're just used to the fact that that's what happens, and it's going to take us time, isn't it, for this approach to bed in. I think we're also realistic, and also the team and McCullum have earned so much credit now that when we have that awful game, and we got pumped by South Africa once, didn't we? End of the summer, but we'll have that game. It'll probably be in the Ashes, probably be the first test, won't it? We'll get blown away, and then everyone will be like, hopefully the boys have got enough credit in the bank for people to just accept that this is how we do it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a case of just holding your nerve, Rob, as a supporter. Look, they're not going to change the way they play, McCullum and Stokes. If anything like that happens, they'll just tell them out there to go out and play harder, go harder at the ball. Whereas as a fan, I think you do get a little bit, you're thinking, oh, look, what we're doing. You just have to just trust McCullum, trust Stokes. We've won, 8 out of 9 since they've been in charge. So at the minute, look, we're loving where we're going, and everyone's enjoying it. And look, they've never won two tests in Pakistan in the series, never, ever in history. They'd only ever won 2 before we'd gone out there, haven't we? So we're treading on new ground, Rob.
Yeah, my thing is that look how we won the 50 overs, and we won that. We were awesome, and we were the best team there, but we slipped up, didn't we, against Pakistan, Australia,
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, 3 games, and we had to get over the line, didn't we? We had to win 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
In the T20, we lost to Ireland, then a bit of weather, and then we had to win every game, and we did. My fear is that even the Australians are clever enough to look at how we're playing and go, yeah, England are the best team in the world at the moment. we need to change our approach. If the other teams change their approach, we're going to see some cricket's going to be
cool.
It's going to be brilliant, isn't it? I think
what I would say in terms of the Ashes coming up, obviously we know that the conditions in England are much harder to bat in than obviously what we've got in Pakistan. But what that does also bring about is if we continue going at above 5 runs and over, the saying, there's going to be one with your name on it. If you're scoring and you're accumulating the runs before you get that one with your name on it per se, then that's when you're going to score more runs. Growing up, I always, every day at the end of the first day of a test, whoever batted first would be on 270-ish, between 250 and 300. Very rarely would you see 300 runs in a day. So I think in England we're not going to see 500 in a day. Let's get that out there. But what we are going to see is a lot more of England maybe batting only 2 sessions. As you said, 300 in England is a very good first innings total most of the time on the pitches that we play on. So, and if you can accumulate those runs, because Australia's bowling attack is good enough that they're going to bowl some good balls. But if you're swinging hard enough at it, those edges won't go to slip. They'll go down bloody third man for 6. So there's, I think it is sort of transferable wherever we play in the world. There's benefits to scoring at that rate. Whether we're not going to get the same totals, but the time that it takes to get the totals that we're going to get is much better for us.
The interesting payoff.
Question, hang on, just a question in the chat here from Matt Stannard for both of you. Random one. Last Test series that resulted in an away whitewash for England. Who was the opponent and what was the year? Now, I'm probably thinking, did we win?
Is this attainable for us?
I think it is. Did we win in Sri Lanka once 3-0?
Do you know the result? Is that why you just said, yeah, I think it is attainable, and then you've said Sri Lanka?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I've not got a clue. I'm just throwing it out there.
Maybe it's South Africa. South Africa were a bit crap for a couple of years, weren't they?
I don't think we've ever whitewashed them, have we?
No?
No. It wouldn't be Australia because we've only ever won down there, bloody handful of times.
Yeah.
Matt Stannard, look into it. Let us know. I think it's Sri Lanka away. I think we beat them 3-0 once, Rob, but I'm not quite sure.
Did we not when Rooty got loads of runs? Did we not win that series 3-0?
Possibly.
When Root got like 3,000 runs in a series.
That's the only series I think.
Yeah. When there was one fan up on the rock on his own.
Oh yeah, that was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
during COVID.
Sri Lanka 2018. You're right. 3-0.
There you go.
Your
point I was going to make, Rich, to Brandon, as a fellow clubby of similar standard next year.
Oh, I'll be there because I want to see the matchup. When are fixtures out?
They're out, mate. They're out. If Ben Wilkins is in and around, I'm sure Ben will put the date in for us because
he loves down there. Get the cameras rolling.
So the angle is with all with the increase in how people are playing. I know that the T20 and the 50 overs has been over the last few years, but with the test angle as well. Do you think, Brandon, that clubbies are going to go out there and be more aggressive?
To be perfectly honest with you, Rob, I think the level we play at, very rarely do you see someone accumulate runs at a steady pace. They're normally a bit clubby, aren't they? A bit clubby and clubby.
Yeah.
You have the odd sort of like old
just
guy
as a mindset, just as a captain,
and get 50 off 45 overs. Yeah, I don't see why not.
No, okay, for you personally, then, do you think you're going to change at all?
Hang on, he's going to bring up that 100 last year when what was it? The second 50?
Yeah, second 50 only took me 3 overs. I think so. I think I'm just going to score 106 overs next year. Yeah,
do it at Haverhill, please.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I want to be there. Well, I've got a question for you two, right? So, do you see similarities in when Owen Morgan took over the white ball team? We were on the floor, right? We just lost. I think it was in. No, it wasn't. It was before the World Cup that Cook went, wasn't it?
Was it the Ireland 50 over game that we lost? Was it around then when Strauss stepped down?
It was Cook, wasn't it?
Was it Cook after Strauss?
Yeah, it was Cook.
I was watching actually the highlights of one of those.
Do you see similarities, guys, in Stokes taking over from Root when we were on the floor and when Morgan sort of revamped the white ball team? Because I think it's quite similar sort of what's happened so far.
Yeah,
massive.
What I would say is obviously when you're on the floor, the only way to go is up, isn't it? And that's when you can't win a game, you can't buy a win. What better time to think, let's just play a completely different style and see how we get on. I think England have got the team to play the way we're playing. That's the difference. If you look back at some of the teams we've had in the past, like when Cookie was around and, you had Strauss, Trott, all of them were, they'd bat for 2 days and score a big 100 or get to 200. They're not people who are going to accelerate it. But you look at the team now and how many of the team that played in the last test are probably some of the best white ball specialists in the world. Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, Joe Root's decent white ball cricketer as well. Will Jacks. I think although we might get onto Will Jacks in the red ball team, he's certainly someone who I'd look at in the next couple of years to get into the white ball team to replace someone like maybe a Moeen Ali who's going to be on his way out and things like that. But we've got white ball specialists smashing a red ball now. It's good to see.
Yeah, Simon Harris is absolutely right, Rich, in the chat. Simon says the culture that is in the squad is go at it, play with freedom. And, you look at Crawley last year. I think we all were calling for Crawley to be put in the bin. One more game. And look what platform he's putting down now. And you know what? I think I said it in our chat. Duckett just might be that little answer that, Alex Lees or whoever else dotting it around, or even Lees when he tried to play aggressively didn't maybe suit. But Duckett, crabby left-hander, left-hand, right-hand combo, fearless, go out and play. He might just be the answer. He reminds me of when we picked Trescothick. However long that was, like 20 years ago, when we picked Trez, when he wasn't actually he wasn't banging doors down, but they just saw something in him. And Duckett, he had a taste, went away, probably too young. And then, he's come back in, fearless, knows his game, just gets on with it.
What do you reckon the conversation was, guys, when he walked in the dressing room with Jimmy was there after what happened in Australia? Did he pour a beer over his head? Apparently.
No idea.
He did that. He did that. I'm sure that Jimmy's not the sort of guy that's going to be a pain in the ass for something that happened 5 years ago. I think he probably would have put him in a headlock, give him a little nuggy, and then got on with it.
Do you think, right? He's done really well, Duckett. I've got his scores, 107, 0, 63, 79. I think, Rob, that he's ideal for playing out in Pakistan, India, because he's small. He gets down to that. He's great on the sweep, and he was sweeping for fun. It's going to be interesting when I think in the new year, January, February, they got 2 tests in New Zealand out there. And then over here, look, you're going to be playing against. Look, he's got runs for knots over here. He's done really well.
So, Rich, here's straight back at you. So, being short is a negative. That's what you're saying.
I'm just saying he's ideal for the conditions that they're playing out at the minute. Now,
I agree, but also if you're short and the ball's bouncy, you just live on the back foot.
True, but
Sachin Tendulkar, Brian Lara.
Yeah. Let's not put him in that.
No, just
echelon.
I don't think
coming to the summer, right? Let's just quickly look ahead to the summer. Johnny Bairstow is going to be back in the mix, right? He'll be nailed on to play. Harry Brook will be nailed on to play. Someone, Brandon, is going to miss out. Would it be Ben Duckett?
I think so. I'd open with Johnny Bairstow. That's what I'd do.
I don't disagree with that, Brandon. I think there's an angle, and I don't like it. There's an angle where Pope keeps the gloves.
We'll come to that one as well. Yeah,
that's the only way I can see it fitting, because he ain't coming in for Root, Brook, or Stokes, is he?
No,
I think Brook should keep his place. I think he should be in the team for the next 10 years.
Who? Sorry,
Harry Brook.
Yeah. Well,
in all formats, I think he's gonna be one of the best batsmen in the world.
The one for me is that when he picks up length off the back foot and he hits it for 6, like every time, it's a joke. He's got a different method for quick bowlers and spin. Really clear method. He doesn't look to have a weakness yet. If he stays fit, he plays. You're right, Brandon. He plays all the time. He's so clean, so hard.
Did you see his interview with Mike Atherton, Rob, before the test?
No, go on.
He's a typical Yorkshireman, isn't he? If Neil was here, he probably would agree. He's really dour. He's really down to earth. But I think I agree with you, Brandon. I think the sky's the limit for Harry Brook. I really do. He's got everything. He was unlucky not to get picked last summer. Look, He's leading the team now through obviously an injury, but it's in any sport. When you get that opportunity and you come in, you've got to grab it with both hands. And he's grabbed it with both hands. He's got 200s already. Who would bet against him in Karachi scoring a third? Because I wouldn't, and he can be as good as he wants to be.
Absolutely. Average is like, 80, 90 or something like that? So
there you go. Charlie Nelson, Anderson punched Duckett in the bar after the Stokes legal case. The ECB downplayed it and used Duckett as a scapegoat. There you go. Well,
I'd let Anderson punch me, to be fair.
Anyway, so obviously Rawalpindi, England. What do we all think of the declaration? Before we move on, we'll chat about the second test. What did we all agree with Stokes? Did we think it was a little bit sort of? Look, he dangled that carrot, didn't he?
It was
crazy. In the old days, you'd have gone 4-20, 4-30, keep batting, put them out of the game. Whereas we don't play like that. There you go, have a chance, Pakistan.
I think the crazy angle for me was we dominated them wholeheartedly for 3.5 days. And then all of a sudden, we declared, and on the betting markets, Pakistan were favourites. For a period of the game, Pakistan were favourites. And then we levelled it off again, and then they went favourites again when they had that good partnership before tea. Crazy. Risk and reward, isn't it? Everyone thought it was daft, but it turns out to be one of the most unbelievably brilliant decisions ever made. And do you know what? If they'd have lost it, you can see he'd have stood there and gone, I got it wrong, but we rolled the dice. Everyone comes here, bats, and gets a draw, and that's it. This game will be remembered forever.
I'd much rather lose with a chance of winning than just play out a draw after 5 days of cricket. I think when you used to get quite a lot of draws, which weren't entertaining draws, when they'd shake hands with like half a session left on the 5th day, because there's like the day that Alistair Cook took a wicket, those sort of days, the sort of draws where a result isn't possible if you could play for another 2 days. I think those are the days which maybe saw people's love of Test match cricket dwindle a little bit. And when you're watching England now and there's going to be a result, whether that mean that we lose by an innings and some runs like we did against South Africa, or whether we're winning like we have done every other game since Stokes is in place, it's good to see that we're always wanting to get a win rather than playing for draws.
There's an interesting comment there from Chris Boyd in the chat. He says Pakistan aren't very good. That's the simple fact. Too used to playing on Dubai flat tracks, so you can risk that declaration. You can't do that in the Ashes. I disagree with that. I think if Stokes has that chance in the Ashes to win a game, I think he'll roll that dice, Rob, because that's the type of guy that he is.
I think he'll roll the dice, but I agree with Chris. I think Pakistan have been pretty poor. They've got, probably in the second test, they've got a decent leg spinner. They've emerged in the second test, not the one in the first.
Where's he been hiding? Where's he been hiding?
Who knows with their infrastructure? They've got Babar Azam, who's top 3 in the world without a shadow. They've got the opener, Shafiq, who looks class. And
Shaquille's done all right. Shaquille's done all right, isn't he? So, is it Shaquille?
Oh, yeah, I said Saul. So the opener and the 6, I think it is. And yeah, their pace bowling's been shot to bits, hasn't it?
I think you'd love it.
Chris is right. Chris is right. You roll the dice against Pakistan. It's just you've just got more probability of winning against Pakistan than Australia in that situation. Likewise, if you're playing Zimbabwe, you're probably going to win in that situation. If you're playing Australia, or if you're playing against us, it's going to be a lot tougher. It's absolutely just facts, isn't it?
What do you think, Brandon? Do you think he'd do the same in an Ashes test, Stokes?
I do. I think what we've also got to take into account that this was a flat track in terms of if we're calling Pakistan flat track bullies. This was the flattest track, as we've seen by the fact that it was below average, and he still rolled the dice on that. 300 odd wasn't a hard total that they should have probably got there, looking at the pitch that they were playing on. And looking at the Ashes, it's going to be in England, which means that if we have 280 and there's a day left, you're going to back James Anderson and Stuart Broad and Ollie Robinson with a red ball in England, aren't you? So I think if you take into account all the conditions, I think this is probably one of the biggest risks you can take, other than maybe declaring with less than 200 on the board. I can see him doing it. He did say in his in an interview after the game, I think, because Nasser Sain was saying it was the best captaincy he's seen ever, and Ben Stokes said no one wants to draw test matches. So he said it himself there. He's not going to play for any draws. He wants results and he wants wins.
Yeah, it's risk and reward, like it was in the chat there. But I see Jimmy's interview. I think it was after 2 days, Rob, and they were saying about England going to try and win this game. And I was, even then, I was scratching my head thinking, how are we going to get a win on this wicket? You know, and he's thrown it out there, and Stokes, and it was Pakistan probably should have won the game. You know, it was a really generous declaration, but they didn't. So we went 1-0, and then we've gone on to Multan. And what did we all make of this Test match, Brandon?
Yeah, well, the first innings scores and the second innings scores that we scored, I thought we were playing in England. Obviously, the difference was after a day and a half, you saw there was going to be a result. You just didn't know which way it was going to go. I just think Stokes was maybe a bit more creative. Obviously, you touched on it earlier with his fields and his bowling changes. He got it spot on. I don't think Ollie Robinson bowled for the first how long?
35 overs. About 35 overs.
Yeah, and when you look at that, I think in both tests he sort of opened with James Anderson or Ollie Robinson, and then spin came on in like the third over in both tests, and the other bowler wouldn't be brought on until the ball was a bit older. So obviously try and bowl some reverse swing. But obviously we had Mark Wood as well, who was brilliant on these flat tracks. When you have someone bowl 95 miles per hour, and then after 50 overs, it's going to start reverse swinging at 95 miles per hour. I wouldn't want to face that. But yeah, it's just we talk a lot about the positivity with the bat, but we're also very positive in the field. Like, he doesn't try and save runs, does he? He's always looking for a wicket. He doesn't care if he brings on a spinner and they're going for 7 and over. He's going to think if there's a chance that we can take a wicket from them hitting him over the top, then we'll persevere with it a little bit more. So Ben Stokes has just shown a masterclass of captaincy in the last 2 games, is the way that I've seen it.
Great to see Mark Wood back, wasn't it, Rob? They were
absolutely, mate.
I was listening to CMS and they said since his debut, I think he could have played something like 120 tests. He's played 25 tests. He's been ravaged, hasn't he, by injury, and he'll probably. Will he play on Saturday? I don't know. You can never tell with Mark Wood from sort of one test to the next. But I think when he plays, we should just enjoy him because we all like to see someone racing in 95 miles an hour. He was the one who made them key breakthroughs yesterday, just before, obviously before lunch. He had that one down the leg side. I want to get both your views on, I think it was Shaquille, the catch by Ollie Pope. Out or not out?
There's no conclusive evidence to overturn the decision on the field, I think. You're not going to know, regardless of how far you zoom in, whether the ball's hit the ground or not for 100% certainty. So as soon as the soft signal's out, you can't change it.
I agree with Brandon. I completely agree with Brandon, Rich. I think soft signal is a big saying. As soon as umpires call, if they say soft signal not out, they're not going to overturn it, are they? I think as a player, coach, whatever, I go on and umpire, whatever. I go on a player's reaction. You look at Pope; he believes he's taken that, and there's a lot in player reaction. I know it's dangerous because you can bluff, but I just feel like, honestly, I think it probably did skim the ground.
I thought he's caught it, and then it's sort of when he's gone down. It's so hard to tell. They could have been there another 5 or 10 minutes looking at that and freeze framing it and rewind.
I think what I'm going to say, Rich, I'm just going to say the conclusion for that is I'm going to commend umpires' call. I think when they changed, with the DRS evolving and all that, I think the move to go in umpires' call is we'll stick with it, and then you keep your review spot on. And with the soft signal as well, I think soft signal goes, you're the umpires, you're the 2 main men out in the middle doing the job. We back you. We'll try and prove or disprove. We can't, we can. There we go. I think it's a really good sort of facet.
That's when it works, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got a question for you, Brandon, because I remember you were on the WhatsApp group in the first test on that just before tea on that last day with the LBW off Jack Leach. And it was only probably it was the only probably the second ball that was going over the stumps in the whole test. How that how they come to that conclusion on ball tracking, I've got no idea.
Well, ball tracking has been sort of proven to not be 100% accurate anyway, hasn't it? I think when there's not much distance between where the ball's bouncing and when it's hit the batsman's pads, you don't actually know how much it's bouncing. And it was the same with Ben Stokes when he won us the game with Jack Leach in the Ashes. It didn't register the fact that it hit his front pad before his back pad, did it?
Yeah.
And he was saying it's hit my front pad. And on the replay, you can clearly see that. But Hawkeye hasn't taken that into account. I absolutely refuse to believe that ball is bouncing this far over the stumps.
It wasn't just a little bit. It wasn't just a little bit, was it?
You can't tell me that ball is missing the stumps, let alone bouncing another set above it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It was funny. Looking back on it, it's quite funny.
It is because we won the game.
Yeah, we did win the game.
Yeah, absolute joke.
So just talking about Rich, just going back to Mark Wood, I also just love the bloke that he is. I mean, he's brilliant around the team, isn't he? And he's great for the fans. Yeah. He bowls his heart out. He falls over twice and over trying to bowl as fast as he can.
Great interview afterwards. Did you see the interview afterwards when he just said, I'm knackered? And he just looked absolutely shocked. He's not played a first-class game, I think they said, since March sort of this year. Obviously, he had the injuries and then he got injured in the T20 World Cup.
I think the plan will be. I mean, I'm not Rob Key, who does deserve an absolute pat on the back, doesn't he? But I'm not in charge. But I just think for as long as we can with Wood, we alternate Wood and Archer like for like every game. For once Archer's back fit, we really manage him because he's unbelievable. I bring him up nearly every time, but Archer's got so much unfinished business and untapped potential for this team that he hasn't. He absolutely will suit the way these guys play. And you just manage him or Wood. I think Anderson, it'll be Anderson, Broad, and Robinson, two of the three. I think Broad's probably in trouble because Robinson just looks unbelievable.
Well, if you look at Charlie's comment there, Rob, about the summer, and then he says about
Potts,
with Potts available, is Broad a guaranteed pick now?
I agree.
What was going on with Broad's hair? Anyway, what was going on with Broad's hair in the studio quickly?
Not keen on the glasses either.
No.
Yeah, leave him out.
Dress up,
That's enough for me. That's enough ground. Leave him out. Leave him out.
But yeah, look, if we can have a fit and firing Jofra Archer for the summer, it's going to be another massive. He's massive. When did he last play a test match? How far back was it, Rob, that he's actually
New Zealand?
Pulled
New Zealand away. They bowled him into the ground at New Zealand.
That was
away
it.
In New Zealand.
But we're going to have to take care of him. It was like when he played before, he was Joe Root obviously kept bowling him, and then he just snapped, didn't he? In the end, he had that elbow problem. And
The Aussies genuinely fear Archer big time. They genuinely respect Stokes and Root as well. And I think there's probably another who'll start knocking on the door. And obviously they massively respect Anderson and Broad. A few others will be knocking on the door like that right now. But the Aussies petrified of Archer, and they massively respect Stokes and what he's about. And like I said before, maybe they'll start playing our way a little bit. But then they didn't just pick up. Bear in mind they're playing West Indies at home on flat ones. They didn't go at it. I just thought maybe they might just go, here you go, England. Here's Dave Warner, 200 off 150. But it didn't happen, did it? They just ticked along at 3 and over.
They're a poor team, aren't they, the West Indies now, Rob?
Oh,
sad.
Massive, yeah.
Really sad to see. To watch their decline, and you think that we've had some good test matches against us where they've given us a little bit of trouble, but it's just...
Mate, they beat us over there. Back when it was Collingwood in charge 10 months ago.
I remember the Shy Hope Braithwaite game. That's what I remember.
Well, when they chased 300?
Yeah.
Like I said, Collingwood was in charge last February, March, and we lost over there, didn't we? Red Bull reset.
No, we're having that.
Bull reset.
Do you remember that? Do you remember those halcyon days of English cricket? The Red Bull
those
reset.
Were brilliant podcasts as well.
Jimmy, you can stay home. You can stay home, lads. We're having a look at
the highest rating for the England
Matthew
team?
Fisher. Was it Matthew Fisher from Yorkshire who played that test match?
We got Fisher and Overton. Watch out.
Never to be seen again. Anyway, should we do some ratings anyway?
Yeah.
Should we, Rich, just an idea. Should we combine both tests?
That's what I've done.
That's what I've done.
That's what I've
You've
done.
Yeah,
I've
brilliant.
got Liam Livingston down, but we won't count him because he didn't take no part in the game.
I agree.
So
I didn't actually. I put not applicable for him.
that is exactly what I've got down here, Brandon. Great minds.
There we go.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
let's start off up the top of the order. Ben Duckett. I've given him an 8.
I've also given him an 8.
9 for me, because he's got a ton, 2 other big scores, set an absolute platform, and the time that he was out for naught, first ball, was insignificant because we were getting on with it and setting it up anyway. So he's not dropped a catch. 9.
Might give him another point for his interview when he was on about the leggy, and he was just basically saying, I don't watch any footage. It gets in my head. He's a leggy. He bowled quite well, he said. Well, he did take, 12 in the match, was it? He took a bra?
Yeah.
I like his... he said that he'd be angry with himself if he got out playing a forward defence. That's what
true.
I like.
But I also like the fact that if it was 6 years ago, he'd have watched the footage and stayed up all night watching the footage, trying to get ready to be Alistair Cook's opening partner. And now he's just gone, I've got another chance 6 years ago. I'm just going to go and play my way. And he's just free. He's got a clear mind. You can see he's got a clear mind. They all have.
Absolutely.
So, happy days. 9. Next one.
Zach Crawley, Brandon. What are you giving him?
It's going to be a 7.
Yeah, great.
Because he had a decent... He had a very good first match and then a fairly ordinary second one. Zach Crawley, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't try and pinch a single to mid-on. I mean... Why?
Don't have to.
Why was he doing it?
Just hit boundaries, Zach.
Exactly. Don't worry about singles. Hit the ball to the boundary.
What's this running nonsense?
What have you given him?
I give him a 7. Same, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got runs again in the next test. You know, he looks in good form. Right, man with the gloves. The new Alex Stewart, bang at number 3, Ollie Pope. I'm going to give him an 8 because he got a ton, didn't he? He got really good 60 in the first innings, and he's also got 11 catches and 1 stumping, guys. So he's been pretty impressive with the gloves, hasn't he?
He only had that one, didn't he, that he left between him and Root that nearly cost us, but didn't.
Oh my lord!
There was one down the leg side as well.
Yeah, he dropped that, didn't he?
But have you noticed? You know, it's because of the pitches. Obviously, we've seen how close he's been standing.
Yeah, you had to stand close up.
So close. Did he stand up to Jimmy as well?
He did.
He'd stand up to Chris Stokes before anyone says it as well. Yeah.
Well, he'd have done that regardless.
Yeah. He's done his job with the gloves. I don't want to see him with the gloves again in this series. Folks, for me in this test. I'll give him an 8. What about you two?
7.
8 for me. 8 for me, yeah.
Ollie Pope. All the talk about number 3. That's well in the past. Joe Root. 23, 78, 8, 21. But he
wickets.
He took 2 for 23, 1 for 65. He's 50th. He's in some good company now.
He's up there now with Jack Callis, isn't he?
Jack Callis.
Yeah, he's only got 3,000 more runs than him and 248 more wickets than him, I think. Well, what a player. What a player, Jack Callis.
I'll give Joe Root a 6.
Are we doing 0.5s?
Well, you can do.
I have, yeah.
I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, me too.
His wickets bump him up.
I think what's got to be admired, Rich, is he still is our best player. You know,
100%, definitely.
The odd. You know, batting is hard. You know, Brandon, we get one go, don't we? Every Saturday we get one go. Sometimes we might get another life. Sometimes they take the life off us without even offering it to us. Umpires and these run-out partners and stuff. It's tough sometimes, but he's still our best player. And you know what? Just for a moment, just think in the back of his mind is, I was in charge for ages and we were shit, and now we're really good and nothing's really changed apart from the leadership. So he's doing really well to ride through it. I think it could, there's an angle where that could be really shitty for him, because it's, yeah. So I think he's done really well to just be part of it, you know, and embrace it. And you can see he loves it and he'll come good. Aussies are in for a spanking. He likes the New Zealand seamers as well, so we can tuck into those. Not an issue. Probably get 100 when he on Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
6.5.
Harry Brook.
4.
10.
10.
9.5.
Oh.
Only because I just think, was it Saturday morning when Stokes had just got out sweeping and he just did the same, and he should have got 100 and he should have just got us 450 lead. And yeah, I'm picking at straws here because I don't really give a 10.
Yeah, they were on about that on TMS, and they were saying, like, obviously Stokes come out afterwards and he said, listen, look, this is how we play. But behind the scenes, Rob, there will be little things that they look at where another 50 runs and the game's out of Pakistan's reach, and we give them another little chance, didn't we?
I think there's also that thing where even in T20, you don't want to have clustered wickets. So even in T20, you want to just rebuild for a few balls before you maybe go again. I think there's an angle there where in Test that might be 5-0, where he just knocks it down the ground, or maybe he's just in a zone where he just feels. I mean, you're going to feel good if you're averaging 100 at the time, aren't you? But just that's the only reason. I absolutely love him. He may well end up being my favourite cricketer very soon. Yeah, maybe he just needs. I haven't seen him bowl yet, so he hasn't bowled. So maybe he needs to do that or start keeping or something.
Ben Stokes. So look, I've got his figures here. He's got 40-0, 30-41, 1 for 69. Didn't bowl, interestingly.
Didn't need to.
But I still think that knee's an issue. One day he will break. But I'm taking the figures of Stokes doesn't really bother me. Look at what he's doing
10.
with captaincy. He gets a 10 from me.
He gets a 10.
Got to be a 10. Come on, Rob. What are you giving him?
Rich, I thought you were teeing him up for like a 7 then, mate. I was getting ready.
He gets a 10.
I mean, 10. No, I'll give him 11.
What?
I cannot fathom how much I love what England are doing right now. I get up at 5 a.m. and watch it because it needs watching. Read about it, study about it, talk about it with you lot and everyone and anyone who'll listen. He's just making cricket. Him and McCullum are making cricket very sexy and very watchable. And we should see the impact in the next few years of just Test cricket retaining and rebuilding and improving its status, but also, just more people coming to cricket because it's cool.
Yeah.
And the way he does it, and just I think the fact that you mention, and we all know his numbers aren't that good. I think that is it in a nutshell. He's like, we're doing it my way. I'll do it this way. I don't mind, I'm not fussed on numbers and stats and stuff, but I'm going to do it our way. I want you to do it. Feel free to do it. Crack on. And let's go and give it a good go and see how we come out. And he's leading from the front with the 11 over spells and the teeing off and the wacky fields, which are brilliant. And I just think it's a breath of fresh air, and he needs an 11 because he's ace.
You can give him an 11.
Just waiting for Atomic Kitten to bring out Stokesy, you're the one.
Yeah.
Right. We can rejig it,
Do it.
You can if you want, Brandon. If you want to bring it out.
And Ben, if you're listening, 2 ticks for Lords, please. Cheers. He probably is.
Cheers, Ben.
Will Jacks. Brandon.
6.
Rob.
I went 7 because he's done a job, but he just looks a bit clubby.
I'll give him a 5. Might be a little bit harsh. He did take 6, but maybe I'll bump it up to a.
If Livington didn't exist, Crunch, would you get a 6?
He does, so it doesn't matter. But
all right,
I agree with you for the white ball. I think he's got a really big future, Brandon, going forward. And I think this time next year, Rob, I think we're in India. I think there's 5 out there, so I would have thought he'd probably make the trip again. Look, he hasn't bowled off spin that long, so I think we have to give him cut him a little bit of slack, don't we really? But anyway, on to the bowlers. Ollie Robinson, I've given a 9. Brandon.
An 8.5.
Rob?
Yeah, same. Yeah, love him. I just the whole
he's so good. He's so good. He's so natural.
Jimmy. He's Jimmy when Jimmy finally goes.
Definitely.
But you know what? There's room for both of them at times. He just hits the amount of times he takes a wicket in his first over by just landing the seed right where he needs to do, top of off, Baba, whatever, just he's Jimmy. He's ready. He's ready. He's averaging 19 career, and he's fit as a fiddle now, and he's gone 2 fingers up to everyone who said, Oslot, who said you're not going to play, you're not fit enough, you're So
I don't think we ever doubted his ability. It was the fitness that
attitude, not ability.
And obviously, John Lewis come out and criticised him, and I think they were probably right with what they said. And I think the pennies dropped with him. Could he be, Brandon? Could he be the nemesis of Mr. Warner in the summer?
I think Ollie Robinson, his personality, the way he plays, the way he bowls, I think he's perfect for Ashes cricket. He's just got that bit of bite about him, doesn't he?
He'll give the Aussies a bit back as well, won't he, Rob?
Oh yeah, I want to see him and Warner head to head, just like this. Who's going to blink first?
It won't be like that, will it? Because he's down there, isn't
he? This is true.
Warner doesn't get any runs over here.
Yeah, don't worry about him. Mark Wood, 1 test, 6 wickets, bowled his heart out, 9 runs for me. Yeah, 36, smashed them.
9.5.
I think if he's played 2 games and done similar in both games, we're talking 9.5 plus. I've got 9 because it was 1 game, and the others have got run through treacle, twice. So yeah,
fair enough.
No, unbelievable.
Good point, Rob.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate your positivity.
Our friend Jack Leach, Brandon, I'll let you go first. Ian wanted him dropped after the shot. I think Ian's still a little bit. He's still in the Matt Parkinson camp, isn't he? Because this time last year it was Parkinson. Give him a go. Didn't really work out for him. And when you give a 5, did you say?
5.
Why are you giving him a 5?
I think him being outperformed by Will Jackson the first test, and arguably I was more impressed with Joe Root in the second test than I was with Jack Leach. I think these are the sort of tours where you want to be looking at him taking the same wickets as the Pakistan spinners have been the last 2 tests. And he hasn't done that. I know that maybe England's approach has favoured more roughing the ball up and then bowling, reverse swing or whatnot. But I just think you should expect more from your frontline spinner than what we've got.
100 wickets now, 100 Test match wickets, which shouldn't be sniffed at.
No, but I think a lot of these wickets have come when his time maybe should have been up already. He's got a lot of opportunity, maybe when someone else should have been given opportunity. We've said about Parkinson. That's one. Obviously, that hasn't materialised. You move on from it. But I think we certainly would be doing ourselves no favours if we don't at least have a look at the young lad.
I've given him a 7. I've given Jack Leach a 7. I think, look, he still, to me, he bowls that one bad ball and over, Rob, where he's releasing the pressure. But I think 100 Test match wickets is not to be sniffed at, And I think sometimes we're always looking at someone who look, we love leg spinners, don't we? Ian Salisbury, Chris Schofield, Mason Crane. So for everyone saying Ahmed, give him a chance, which I think they probably should do for the next test, because like I said, India this time next year, he's probably going to be needed out there. But let's not put too much pressure on him because he's only played 3 first-class games. So
no, I know, but as you've already won the series, and it's over in a country where it should spin, you're not going to get much better opportunity to give someone a go with.
It doesn't spin as much
pressure on it.
It doesn't spin as much as people expect it, though. They were saying out in Asia on the last day, it's in Pakistan is the place where it spins the less. So I think it's sometimes a bit of a myth to say you're going to Pakistan, it's going to turn square, because look, it did spin this second test, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did it spin that much? I think as the test went on, it probably spun less, didn't it? And obviously then it brought the seamers come into it, Rob. Again, second innings, what was it? I think 8 wickets were taken by the seamers and they won us the game again. So I think sometimes we're looking at your spinner. It doesn't always work out where in the 4th, 5th day that your spinner's going to win the game in Pakistan. So look, I'm going to give Leach a 7. I don't know what you're going to give him, Rob.
6. I think he's taken, he's got 4 fuzz. He's held an end up. he's our best finger spinner. He's done some finger spin. He's also allowed his bold Barnet to be used as a ball shining
that is true.
Vector, shall we call it? And he's a 6. He is a 6 out of 10. Gary Neville. So yeah, we touched on it. I'm all about Ahmed. Okay, the kid will come in and probably bat 8, 9. He'll probably end up batting as high as 6.
Are you going to play him instead of Leach for this last test, Rob?
Yeah, because there's if they keep Jacks in, I think it's Jacks or Leach for me. You need a bit of spin. Root's done a decent job of it. I just think we feel up. What happens? So what if we lose? Have a look. Remember, I said get him in the squad originally.
You did.
And then did you read the bit where actually he was always going to be in the squad anyway? They just sort of snuck him, so it wasn't a big deal when he was already out there. I think they really rate him. If you remember, was it over a year ago? I was updating us on the Under-19 World Cup during a pod, and he was picking up 3 for 25 every game in that tournament. And he really does look like the brightest prospect. And also, he's we talk a lot about batting and a lot of young batters coming through, but young leg spinner, great, unbelievable. Get him in.
Fingers crossed.
As long as he bowls it quick to the air than Park.
I'd have him and Folks in for Jacks and Leach. Be my change.
I'm with you. That's what I'll go.
Yeah, I'd have Folks because of Ahmed. Because if he's spinning it both ways, Pope needs to be all over reading a leg spinner, doesn't he? And that's tough. So I think Folks deserves it anyway. And again, because the series is won, do it. Get Folks back in. There's an argument where Folks bats. Folks could bat anyway, couldn't it? So
anyway,
get them both.
One man left to do the ratings. We've got Jimmy Anderson. I'll let you go first, Rob.
9.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9.
Yeah.
10.
Look,
he's still going. We debated whether he should be in Pakistan. We debated, we should just keep him for the English.
We did. Yeah, leave him
he's
out
there. He's out there getting Rizwan out with a bloody seed. God. Jimmy.
I can't disagree. I'll give him a 9. I could bump it up to a 10 quite easily. I could be easily persuaded.
Just do it on his looks crunch.
Well, let's enjoy him while we've got him. He's not going to go on forever, is he? But we keep saying that. I think we've said that for the last year on here. How long can Jimmy Anderson play? And he still keeps going. He still keeps taking wickets. 675 now, Rob. 675. He's on inch into 700.
Roll on 700. Probably in the middle of the Aussie series, wasn't it?
Get to 750.
Lords. No, Lords.
Hang up
I'm calling it Lords. There you go. 700 wickets at Lords.
Anyway, 750. Hang up your spikes.
Have you got any other business, both of you, before we wrap up?
I'd quite like a timeless test.
Okay. Can you expand on that, please?
I just like a game in Pakistan where we're allowed to play for as long as it takes. A bit like, all these games where...
Selling tickets would be a problem. Do you sell tickets for day 7?
Well, no, because in Pakistan, people just turn up when Babar Azam's batting, don't they? But I just think, when they talk about all these records that we didn't quite break because they all happened in timeless tests, I'd love to see... I'd love to see a game that isn't 5 days. I'd love to see a 9-day game. I know it's not, an unlimited game. Just because they sounded like a lot of fun back in the day.
How would Ben? Do you reckon? How would Ben and Baz? What sort of strategy would we use during a timeless test? Just
get to 2,000 in 3 days and then then declare. Give them a go.
I think we'd probably break lots of records. All of the records. I think if England were to play 5 timeless tests, somebody would break the 400 individual. I think that would go. And I think we'd break 1,000 as well. Just because, and it's just a mindset, like a few of the guys have picked up on this. It's just a mindset of, you know what? I back myself. I've trained all my life for this. Like Brandon said, if I scratch around and wait for the ball, one's got my name on it eventually. But why don't I accrue as many runs as I possibly can before then? So... yeah, silly bit of business, but I love Test cricket. Let's make it longer. There you go.
Any other business, Brandon, before we wrap up, mate?
No, mate.
Oh, all right. Thanks for that. Hopefully we'll do another show next week. I'm off to Paris on Wednesday, so I'm hoping a Test match finishes on Tuesday on day 4, and then we'll be back here probably same time. We'll do it probably 6 o'clock.
Which day, mate? Tuesday, Wednesday?
Hopefully Tuesday. I can't do Wednesday. I'll be in Paris, so I want to forward that test. Obviously,
they could be celebrating a World Cup win.
Oh, don't talk to me about that.
No.
Do not talk to me. This is a cricket show, and this is positivity about England. You know, England cricket team will not let you down.
You're the one. You still turn me on.
Anyway, thank you to nice comments there, Simon. Hope you're feeling better now. Chris Boyd, everyone else in the chat. If you haven't watched, if you're watching back, hit the like button. Wrap up warm. Merry Christmas. On to Karachi we go. Well, quick predictions before we leave. Brandon, how do you think the test will go?
3-0.
Rob?
I think we'll win the Test match.
Stokes will hit the quickest century. He'll break the record.
Yeah. Gilbert Jessop's
record
62 balls. 62
balls. Smoke. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you hopefully next week.